Hi everyone, this is Captain Jim with Taiwan On Charter, and this is Tuesday's tip of the week. And this week you see a lot of items here. This is getting your boat ready after a long haul, and it's been sitting in storage on your trailer at a marina. In particular, if you're up north, you're coming out of winter, so your boat's been laid up for a number of months. The first thing you want to do is, obviously you see here, these are all quality products. If you didn't change your oil in your outboard engine, me particularly, I use Amsoil synthetic marine outboard oil. It costs a little bit more, but it's well worth it. 100% synthetic. I've never had in all these years, and I've used this for many years, I've never had an oil failure. Great product. Your fuel separator, same thing. You want to change these every season. Every 50 hours really. And when you change these, and we'll talk about a lot of this stuff in over the next several weeks. I'll break this down for you, but I just want to give everybody an overview. So when you change, like for example, your oil filter on the engine, or your fuel filter canister, use a Sharpie. You write the hours on the filter itself, the date, and the hours. It makes it super easy, so you're never guessing, or when did I change this, or when did I change that. You can look right at it and tell when you changed everything. Your lower gear lube, I buy the big gallon jug of the Yamalube lower gear lube. With that, you want to change that regardless, every 100 hours or every season. Me, I go through, and this stuff I do twice a year, just because I'm able to use my boat year round down here in South Florida, and I put hours on the outboards. But when you change your lower gear lube, you want to be sure to buy the $1 gaskets. You have 2 of these on the engine. It's very important. Do not reuse these. You get water in your gear case and you won't even know it. It's $90 cents. Make sure every single time you break those screws loose in your lower unit, simply replace it. It's at 90 cents, $1.10. I mean, it's just cheap, and it'll save your lower unit. Everybody should, when you're putting fuel in your boat, if you don't do it before it's laid up, you should always do it. I use STA-BIL 360 every single time I put fuel in my boat. It always keeps your fuel fresh. It keeps everything running smooth. Again, I've never had a fuel problem, I've never had an oil problem, but these are items that you need to spend money on and take care of your boat. They're expensive items. Treat them as such. Make sure your batteries are charged. I have the Genius 3-bank charger. On my boat, I carry 3 marine batteries. The boat did not come with a onboard charger. I installed it. Great item. Not an expensive item at all. There's a bunch of different brands out there, but this is the one in particular that I have. So you just plug in your batteries, and this keeps them maintained indefinitely. As long as it's plugged in, your batteries are always top-notch charged. You want to check the water level. If you have wet cell batteries, you want to check the water level at least once a year. That's what I do. I'll pull the batteries out once a year, check the water level, make sure it's the appropriate level, and make sure you use distilled water. Very important. A product that I use a lot of is Corrosion-x. For example, on my boat's on a trailer, I spray all the lug nuts with Corrosion-x. You'll never have a problem getting a lug nut off if you ever have to change a tire on the side of the road. This item's worth its weight in gold right here. You should use this on anything that's exposed, nuts, bolts, that goes around salt water in particular. I use, again, Amsoil. This is synthetic water grease. This I use exclusively on the outboard. Your outboard's submerged in salt water a lot, the lower units, all the trim and tilt. You have grease zerks all around this engine. You can find them in your owner's manual. They're real easy to find. It takes about 5 minutes to grease your outboard engine once a year. I do this religiously once a year, and again, another great product. Now, the grease gun, again, it's very important. Again, I keep my boat on the trailer. So I'm greasing my hubs once a year. I don't travel far. If you're traveling a long distance, you probably want to do that at least a couple of times a year. So be aware of that. Also, every season you're going to pull your propeller off and grease the shaft. So that's every year you need to do that, and use the same thing, marine grease, water resistant grease. You want to use that on your propeller shaft, put it back on, a new cotter pin, you're good to go. Again, I will expand on all these items in more detail, but I just want to give everybody an overview of what it takes to maintain a boat. These products are inexpensive when you factor in what it costs to replace an outboard motor. And I can't tell you how many times I've been out and seen people broke down or can't start their boat at the boat ramp because it sat for 2 months, and you just assume it's going to start. Towboat US, and they love it. They love it when you don't maintain your boat. So it keeps them in business. But again, the important aspect here, these are all the stuff that I do every year, if not twice a year. Everybody should adhere to. It's very simple, basic. You don't have to be mechanically inclined to do any of this stuff. You just need to know a little bit about you know, what you're doing, the products you're using. But I will gladly, if you guys shoot me an email, I'll gladly tell you exactly what I do, how I do it, how often I do it. But again, I will expand on more of these items over the next several weeks. That's Tuesday's Tip of the Week. Thanks and have a great week.